Which leads me to my next topic. I guess George Karl trying to get a job. Like I guess he wants some attention because what Carmelo Anthony said, we'll play it in a second. What Carmelo Anthony said was so innocuous in many respects, where for George Karl to come at him and make it personal really is worse than anything Carmelo Anthony said. Like Carmelo, you're talking about don't protest too much. Like George Karl's response was unnecessarily low. Like talk about bringing a knife to a gunfight. Here's what Carmelo Anthony had to say.
Oh, we was gonna have issues. The first day he got the job. He got the job a couple days before we played Milwaukee Bucks. So the whole thing was, I'm not coaching no game. My first game I wanted to be against Milwaukee Bucks. Cool, go back home. They you over there. I know the business. I know the game at the, and I really don't know the game when he came to the team. I'm 21 now. All I know, I got a big name coach coming. George Karl, coach Milwaukee, coach Seattle, Gary Payton, you know what I mean? All of that. We get to Milwaukee after shoot around, call me to his room and tell me, hey man, look, I think you overrated. Like you have a lot of work.
Yo, that's crazy. First sentence?
Listen.
Nah.
Embarrassed to be
Look at this. Look at this. Nigga don't even want to look at you, B.
No.
Yo.
Nah, yo.
So then George Karl just attacks Melo, talking about happy birthday Nikola Jokic, the greatest player to ever wear number 15 in Nuggets. Like that's just unnecessary. Yeah. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
Then said, you are overrated. He said, no, let's not do this, Melo. You were overrated.
Like
what?
I mean, this is like he out here doing polls. I mean, I'm low key impressed that George Karl knows how to do a poll on Twitter. I mean, that's pretty good. Not the stereotype, but it's like,
look at this. Here it is.
Detlef Shrimp out here not catching strays, but I mean, he's like, yo, I'm minding my own business. Don't pull me into this. But it's just like
Detlef.
What is going on here? Why does this beef?
But come on,
we all did. It was great. Why does this beef run so deep to where George Karl was triggered this badly? Like, enlighten us, Vinny. This is another guy, by the way. This is another guy like Doc Rivers, but different. That former players, they come from George Karl. Oh, you got it?
Let me take this
go
one.
ahead.
Oh yeah, I got it. The reason is George Karl, and I don't get it. Now you want to talk about overrated? Not only overrated, but lacks humility, lacks awareness of why he's in the position that he's in. Okay, now let's put him on the split screen with Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers, I'm not saying this is essential in basketball because Eric Spoelstra didn't play in the NBA, and I think he's a hell of a coach. But he knows it. He knows that he's a grinder. He looks at himself that way. I'm a grinder. I was in the Pat Riley system, and I worked my way up, and I've earned the respect of the players that I have, and I'm a good coach. I'm a great coach. George Karl played for Dean Smith, and that's it. He has never had any humility. He has never won a championship, and he has always trolled his players. Carmelo ain't the only one. He did the same thing. He did the same thing with Ray Allen. Mm-hmm. He did on and on. He just goes at players as if he has that standing, and he doesn't. You weren't a player at all. You weren't anything as a basketball player in the pros. You've never won a championship as a coach. You've never really reached out and made a player feel like, hey, okay, I can be better than the talent that I have. He's not a gracious personality. He's a shit talker, and this is what he has done.
And in his reaction, Vinny confirming I mean, I didn't listen to the whole conversation from Melo, but what Melo and others have said about him, doesn't his reaction kind of like prove their point?
I mean, Melo, Kenyon Martin, like a lot of those guys. The weirdest thing is, look, he took Seattle to the NBA Finals. He got the Milwaukee Bucks to within a game of the NBA Finals. He got the Denver Nuggets to the Conference Finals. Like, he's been a really successful coach in a bunch of different places. And you're right, he comes from that Dean Smith tree. But none of those other dudes kick it like him. As abrasive as Larry Brown can be, you never really hear people talk about Larry like that. Even Allen Iverson has a reverence for Larry Brown, and those two battled. I think George Karl, remember this, Al? Remember George Karl had those cancer scares where, he became a sympathetic figure. And now he's run out of all that sympathy. And it's not that Carmelo Anthony is super popular amongst random NBA fans. Like, some people think that he's a poster child in a bunch of different ways. And I think this podcast is helping humanize him in a lot of different ways, because you're seeing him sort of take a step back, do some reevaluations. But from your first meeting with a player, if you want to tell a player there's things he needs to work on and he can be better, there's other ways to say it besides, I think you're overrated. There's ways to say, you know what, Carmelo, you have superstar talent and superstar gifts. You're not using all of them. Let's help you get there, as opposed to saying what he said. It becomes, lack of a better phrase, I don't know if I can say this on the air, like a dick measuring contest. At every stop, you say yes, I can. At every stop, it feels very petty. It feels very insecure. It feels like he needs to knock people down to build himself up. And it seems beneath him, but I don't even know how far he goes. Maybe the bar is the floor for George Karl.
Insecure is the word. I think there's some insecurity there. And Paul Pierce is another one. He went at Paul Pierce when they were on the some world basketball, whatever, some tournament. I can't remember what it was back in the day. But he just he gets off on going at stars, and that's why insecurity is my number one flag there, because he wasn't one. He wasn't one. So, maybe it's this whole thing of, I got to knock you down. I got to make you know that I'm in control, whatever it is, or I can make your life miserable. But he's just got a whole career of this, and he's got nothing to back it up. I mean, if you look at his entire career, Seattle, you're right, Vinny. There were several 60-win seasons there, but okay, you ain't got a chip, dog. Like, why are you talking so much trash? You ain't done nothing.
All right, leaving that there. So, hey, Vinny, the other day, Michael and I were just kind of like, we were talking about, like, old people greetings. Can't complain, blessed and highly favored, I can't call it, another day, another dollar, so on and so forth.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.